What's up, y'all?
Welcome to the Tug of War.
Man, super glad that you're here joining us.
That's right. We're just two friends hanging out, talking about where we are and where we want to be. There's a fight, a tension, a tug to get to where we want to be, where we know God's called us to be, the more that we're reaching for.
And that's the tug of more.
Right.
The more that we're reaching for. Okay, Whitney's dropping bars.
I was trying to rap
We talk
today.
all kind of stuff. Sometimes we talk leadership. Sometimes we talk theology. Sometimes we talk ministry or friendship. We talk relationships. We talk all kind of stuff. Around here, it's been the Christmas season.
That's right.
I don't know exactly when this one's getting.
I think it might air between Christmas and New Year's, but you can still have your tree up during then because we haven't redecorated our.
Yeah. So we've been in the Christmas season, and y'all, it has been crazy. The schedule has been running and gunning.
Tim sent a text into one of our group chats yesterday that said, I would like to, get frustrated at the person who decided it was a good idea to plan all these things all at once. And I was like, yeah, I'm super mad at Jesus for being an amazing savior, so much so that we want to celebrate. Like,
listen,
it's a busy time of year, but it's the best time of year.
Jesus is up in heaven going, I don't know what half this junk y'all are doing is.
That's true. He's like, I did not tell y'all to get live sheep and put them on the stage and reenact what I did. I already came. I already was born. I already died for your sins. That's okay. We're having fun.
Can I just be honest with you about Christmas? I love Christmas.
Oh, we already know.
But I'm also highly disappointed.
Wait.
I want to go yard.
Oh,
at more
that's
church.
not what I thought you were going to say.
I want to have camels and donkeys.
I know you do.
And I want to have a dude dressed like Mary and Joseph. I want to do it.
Well,
but
we will one day,
we
maybe.
just don't have the facility.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't really have the space for it. To put actual sheep. We could probably fit 2 sheep on the stage. That's it. No camels. We went, Rachel and I went last year to a church that had camels walking down the aisle. It was pretty epic. I was like, whoa. I thought you were going to talk about, no, this is me putting you on blast. Not really.
You can do it. I will handle it really well. I handle rejection
you handle it
so well. It doesn't affect me for years.
No, he's great at teasing, but not being teased. Nope. What is we might have said this already on the podcast, but you are not. You love the holidays. You love doing the big events. You love, but when it comes to the message of Easter and the message of Christmas, you get a little like, man, we did that last year.
Well, here's the struggle. Is that I've, at this point, have how many more years left? 25, 20?
Yeah, 20-ish.
I have mid-20s years of effective ministry left. And I have so many ideas to preach that I don't have time.
That you don't like having to give up a whole Sunday to talk about the birth of Jesus.
I've been telling the story. Y'all don't know the story yet? Mary and Joseph and the sand and her ankles swelled up like cankles and she ride this thing, and Joseph, the innkeeper, there's no space for you in the inn. You got to go sleep in the parking garage. Because did you know that they had to go and sleep where they parked the animals and the sheep and the donkey? And guess then what? Here comes the shepherds and the shepherds, and then now it's not just the shepherds, it's the wise men from afar bringing Frankenstein. Oh no, not Frankenstein, frankincense.
Then last week in the car, you said joy is not based on what's happening.
Well, it's because all of y'all were telling me this year for Christmas. I'm sorry, I love baby Jesus, but
we know we're just teasing you.
But you said this year you just need to preach joy, and I'm like, I've been preaching joy.
Right,
it's already online. Hey, just go to more church YouTube page, search joy. I got a whole series.
But don't you think lots of people still don't got it?
I know. Crap.
They still don't got Jesus and they still don't got joy. And so until they do, I guess we got to keep teaching about it.
You see, Jesus, he's the joy bringer.
That's right. See?
Joy is not about what's happening on the outside. It's not based on happenstance. That's happiness.
Okay. See?
Joy is based on the inside.
Now you got bars.
Where do I got joy? I got the joy down on the mouth. Where? Heart. Where's Jesus live? In my heart.
See, you got it. You already wrote it.
Merry
That's the
Christmas.
great part. A lot of pastors would be excited because basically their message is already written for them, whereas you are disappointed because
I have 50 more to write.
There's more, right?
There's more. I've already taught on this.
No, it's good. But this year we got to decorate our lobby a lot bigger and better. And so the truth is every year we'll just get more. And so one year we'll probably have camels.
Well, I got a camel story. Have I told my camel story?
I don't know.
So I was youth pastor at a church.
And probably only a year ago last year. That's the last time you told me.
Yeah, they had camels, and one of the camels started giving birth. Before the service. They were doing camel rides after. Camel walk down the thing with a dude dressed like a wise man, so then after service they were doing camel rides. Well, the camel starts having a baby. And so I had to go out there with the camel wrangler, man, and he tied ropes around the baby camel's feet being birthed, and we pulled on it full power, tug of war, pulled and birthed a camel. The camel placenta, is that what it's called? I got nervous. I was about to say a really inappropriate word.
I was like, I don't know.
It all came out as a bunch of blood and guts everywhere.
That's crazy.
And that baby camel stood up. That baby camel stood up and started eating hay in 30 seconds.
Nuh-uh.
30 seconds, the dude was standing up as tall as me.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
I've heard the story, but that's still crazy every time I think, because I'm like,
so
they don't even need like 3 weeks to walk. They just walk right away.
No, because there's a lion right there trying to eat that fool.
No, that's true.
So I'm a lion. I'm a giraffe zoologist or camel zoologist.
Camel. I was like, which animal are we talking about? We don't know.
What am I even doing up here?
But okay, so Jesus is the reason for the season. However, there's also lots of Christmas movies that we get to watch.
Oh, here we go.
Do you like Christmas movies?
You're trying to spike me?
Yeah.
I love Christmas movies. As a matter of fact, my favorite Christmas movie is very controversial. It's Die Hard.
There it is. Okay,
all right.
Well, you
Whitney,
did not lead into it. You made it too obvious, but we've had a few people.
Whitney said, I want to ask you some trivia questions.
Yes, somebody has
about Die Hard.
Somebody has requested.
That was her setup.
I was trying to get there in a fun way. I thought we were going to talk about the Grinch for a minute, then Elf, because we had our jingle jam and it's so adorable, and Adam Clark was a great elf, and all of these things.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to go there, but nope, he jumped right in. So here we go. I'm going to ask you some Die Hard questions.
What if I don't get them? I'm going to be embarrassed. I haven't watched it since last Christmas.
If you don't get this first one, then you literally have never watched the movie.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
What is the name of the building where most of...
Nakatomi Plaza.
Okay, good. Who plays the role... Oh, come on. This is my guy. Who plays the role of John McClane?
Aaron Barth. Bruce Willis.
There you go. What alias does Hans Gruber use to introduce himself to John McClane in Die Hard? Die Hard.
Hans Gruber.
Oh, this one's kind of hard though. If you don't.
Yeah, you mean like they're up in the inner structures of the. I don't know.
And he's like, "Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me!"
I don't remember.
It's a very boring name,
What is
but
it?
now you'll never forget it. Bill Clay.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
How many questions are there? You're not going to ask all of them, right? Okay, go.
I actually have 25, but I'm not going to give them all.
Okay.
Oh, no. What was the relationship between John McClane and Holly Gennaro?
Come on, internet. That's his wife. Well, I mean, it's complicated. That relationship status it's complicated.
Yeah, but they're married still, I think. And
Yeah.
she just changed her. Yeah, because he's searching her name in the beginning, and in the little keypad
she
that looks
changed her
like
name.
super futuristic.
Yeah.
You remember? We're like, oh, cool.
Do you remember watching Family Matters
Yeah.
with Steve Urkel?
Absolutely.
There's a
that guy.
There's a theory. Carl Winslow
Yes.
is a police officer.
Correct. In Die Hard.
And he's a police officer in Steve Urkel world. And so there's a theory that Steve Urkel and John McClane exist in the same multiverse.
Stratus multiverse. Wait,
that be
you're saying
awesome?
Die Hard created the multiverse before the Avengers did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
There you go. Who directed Die Hard? Do you know that?
Sylvester Stallone. No, I have no idea.
John McTiernan. I would have known that one. Which city does Die Hard take place in?
Chicago?
No, close. Not really close.
New York?
Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I should have known because it's Christmas, but
Remember?
it's warm.
But also, yeah, he
He's in a
comes
tank
from
top.
New York. He's a New York cop, and he goes to LA.
Oh, yeah. Die Hard 2 is in New York.
Oh, yeah, there you go. What does this mean? I don't even know what this means. What was Die Hard originally based on? Oh, this is why. I didn't know this.
I don't know.
There was apparently a novel called Nothing Lasts Forever
Isn't that a James Bond movie?
by Roderick Thorpe. I don't know.
All right, that's enough.
Wait, one more.
Okay, Titus wants to watch James Bond, but I probably can't let him, right? It's all a bunch of like
You can let him watch the early ones,
James
right?
Bond
Well,
straight
I don't know.
womanizing. He's womanizing.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but they don't show anything for sure in the earlier ones, right?
Well, they don't show nothing, but they be alluding all kind of
They
stuff.
allude, but he's young. Maybe he don't know the illusion. I don't know. Yeah, what year
They
was
do.
it?
Easton was looking at Aaron's motorcycle when he was 8 in the garage.
With a naked lady on it? You're probably right. Do you know what year it was released?
Golly, I don't know. 1989.
Close, 88.
Okay.
I was 5, you were 6. All right. I guess that's enough. I think you're kind of a connoisseur of Die Hard a little bit.
I'm a Die Hard fan.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
a picture in my office.
Oh, you have a lot of pictures in your office. How many?
No, I have Die Hard. I have now, back in the day when they would make movies, they didn't have all these photo shoots.
Yeah.
It's like you search Die Hard movie, and there's very few. There's only one is John McClane in the like pipe,
air conditioning
AC
unit or
vent.
whatever he is, yeah. No, it's on your wall. You got lots of characters on your wall. If you ever at Truston's office, all of the wall of people is his. What is it? You say it's your personality.
It's my wall of influence.
Your wall of
You
influence.
can't understand me without understanding these movie scenes.
And so when I started working here, he made me watch all those movies. Just kidding.
And if you're ever, I should have.
Just kidding.
If you're ever in my office, please don't sit on the couch and go like this. I feel like I'm in trouble.
Everybody says that.
Everybody. I'm nice. I'm a nice person.
We had a meeting. Ooh, this is going to help me segue into what we're talking about.
Okay. Whitney, the transition master.
I know. When did that even become my thing? I don't know. I just like it. We had a meeting last week with my girl, Tiffany. Shout out, Tiffany. And she came. We were talking with her.
Pinata Spice.
Pinata Spice. And what's your other name for her? You had another one?
I had another one.
I don't remember what it was. Dang
I
it.
gave her Pinata Spice nickname.
And so it's in her bio and Instagram. Anyway, she came in and then I got my hair done with her. She's my hairdresser also the next day. And she said those words. She said, I walked in and I sat down and I thought, she said, when y'all asked me for the meeting, I got scared and thought, oh my God, what'd I do wrong? Oh my God, I'm going to the principal's office. Oh my God, what are they going to talk to me about? And it was a great meeting. It was a positive meeting, girl. What are you doing? But you know why? Rejection in her life.
Oh, there you go.
Rejection made her feel scared.
Previous rejections makes everything look terrifying.
That's right. And so we talked about it, actually. It was a good conversation of how, our defaults, which we've been talking about, how our defaults can, predispose us to thinking that we're the problem, that anytime there's an issue, anytime anybody's mad, anytime we're the issue, we're the ones who got. Anyway, but I think a lot of it stems from rejection, sometimes rejection in our homes and as children, sometimes rejection in school. Do you ever get, rejected in school?
Yes.
Right. I have lots of stories. I was a little runt, so I always was rejected if it was PE, games on the playground. Yeah. Red Rover. Ain't nobody ever trying to send Whitney over because why? She's just going to bounce off. It's not even a thing. No one cares. But anyway, rejection.
So we're in the series Devil vs. Default. You know, the funny thing about preaching and teaching is that while you're writing stuff that you have learned.
Correct.
God is telling you stuff that you haven't yet learned.
Right. New stuff. New
content. So I'm writing stuff to teach, but God is then filling in gaps in me.
Yeah.
And while I was writing it, I realized that rejection in my life was a big trigger that I wasn't aware of until writing all this stuff.
Right.
I realized oh, wait a minute. All of these traumatic moments that I would in my life call traumatic, the kind of root feeling was rejection.
Yeah. Well, because one would say about me, that we are confident people, right? That we
most of the time
walk in a room and can be the party, can have fun, can feel oh, I belong here. And so you don't typically think of yourself as someone who's dealt with lots of rejection. And yet, as we kept looking and diving, you were saying it there's many themes throughout of these traumatic moments where it's oh, the core feeling I had there actually was rejection. Yeah. It's really good.
So have you been rejected?
Yep.
You got to think about those moments, remember those feelings, and then do those same feelings still happen in your adult life?
Right.
Or are you now in all of your relationships so afraid that you're about to be rejected that you start acting crazy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you acting kind of crazy because of an offense that happened way back there?
Yeah.
You see these people that they're you know what, before you can reject me, I'm going to reject you.
I was literally about to say, you remember years ago, we had some friends that we were in a conversation and it kind of suddenly took this weird turn and we did not understand. We were what is going on? What's happening? And then she kind of got upset and then her and her husband kind of started to storm out and we're whoa, whoa, whoa. And I remember us saying whoa, you do not need to, we're not rejecting you. You do not need to reject us before we reject you. We're not rejecting you. We're just in a disagreement right now. Yeah. That's just what people do. Are you even really friends if you don't have a disagreement? But
then they just kept yelling and that dude ticked me off and they were in my house. And I was young.
Yeah.
I was you're not going to yell at me in my house. Get out of my house, fool. Who do you think you are? I wish I could take that part back.
That part, but the rest of it, we were right.
They were acting a fool.
They were acting crazy, and but when I really look at it now, on our 40-plus-year-old selves, I'm oh, she just got rejected a lot. That's what happened.
This feels like they're about to reject me.
Yeah, and this disagreement feels oh, even in defaults, we've talked about it, like people who maybe in their life had moments where they felt this traumatic moment of like, I'm not even going to get the full love that I need. I might get rejected here, even from their homes, like not actually rejection, but like emotional rejection that then can really flesh itself out terrifyingly in like our adult life, where you just have this like, actual internal reaction of like, and then it's like, they weren't actually saying that. They weren't actually doing that. But I am having a trigger of when I was a kid, when I emotionally felt rejected. It's not even like they said, get out of here. It just, they dismissed my thoughts. They dismissed my feelings. They dismissed me from the table, whatever. Like, and it's crazy how if we don't get a hold of it and understand that, then guess what happens? We become the rejectors.
We've got to go back in time to look
go
at
back
it.
in time.
But I don't want to forget something that I
Say
thought
words.
of while you were talking about that event at my house.
Okay.
Correction doesn't mean rejection.
Whoa, talk about it. No, it's so good.
Just because somebody's correcting you doesn't mean that they're also rejecting you.
Correct.
And I think that this is what happens to us as adults, especially in our context as pastors and teachers, is that we're regularly bringing teaching that's corrective.
Right.
But when you have...
Not that we're right, but that the Bible is the infallible word of God that teaches us the way we should live. And therefore, we're just pointing out the truth of what God's word says. Right. It's not like we're saying, Whitney thinks you should, Truston thinks you should. No, this is what the Bible says. But it can feel like Truston's rejecting me. Right. Whitney's rejecting me. No, this is just correction from the word of God.
Yeah, but when you live with that, like, offense of rejection, or that, like, outlook of I'm about to get rejected, then anytime you feel correction, you read it as rejection.
Right.
And so you can't swallow the correction.
Right.
But correction's the only way to get better.
No, it's literally the only...
I can't get better unless someone's able to correct me.
No, it's good.
I had a guy years ago, I was at the gym doing squats.
Literally going to say the same thing. Yeah, go.
And I'm doing squats, and this guy comes up to me and goes, hey man, can I just give you a couple tips? And at first I'm like, man, shut up, fool. I'd probably squat more than you. Get out of here. And he goes, hey, you know, your foot placement and your angle of your feet, and try it like this, and I bet you're going to get lower. And I got lower, and I got stronger, and my back didn't hurt, and all these little things just because of a couple tweaks.
Small corrections.
And those corrections that felt rejective.
Right.
They weren't. I need another shun.
I know.
It wasn't correction. It wasn't rejection. It was...
perfection.
An injection of perfection. Yeah, I don't know. It made me better.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, when you and I started working together, lots of things, but specifically in communication. And like, I'd never talked on a microphone as my job in my whole life. And I'm 33, 34 years old at that point. If I would have not listened to your correction, I would still be talking the way I talked at 33, at 43.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be talking anymore at all because I would have felt like, oh, he's rejecting me. No, he's trying to help me.
When he first started preaching, you would talk so fast.
So fast. I still do sometimes.
We're both fast talkers.
Right.
But it was like you were excited and a tad nervous. And so it was like, but it was gold what you were saying. And so the biggest thing was just like, hey, slow that part down.
Yeah.
Say that piece again. But like, how many? I had to say that to you.
Oh, for 2 years,
for
probably.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
That was consistent correction.
Yeah.
But it could have made you feel like, man, this guy just thinks I'm a loser.
Right.
You know?
Well, and knowing, I think sometimes in our culture and context, like people get what you said, this guy at the gym, maybe outwardly, or I don't know, you don't know how much experience he has or doesn't have, but he maybe had way more weightlifting experience, even though you're bigger, even though you're stronger, whatever. Being able to listen to that can feel intimidating. And I think for me, that could have been and was a lot of times intimidating, knowing, wait, this guy communicates way better than I do. He's way over here, has been doing this way longer, is way more gifted in this. That then if you feel that way from someone, not only then do you have the rejection coupled with insecurity, and together those can be like explosive combinations if you don't deal with it. And I think so often, like, if we get insecure, but then we also feel rejected, we like flash back to that like 6th grade middle school girl or boy situation where we felt like we didn't have the right friend group, we didn't wear the right jeans, we didn't, whatever it was that made us feel like small when we were 12 or 13. And instead of going, hey, this is my brother who loves me, he's trying to help me be better, instead I feel rejected and insecure.
Yeah.
And that is just a deadly like combination if we allow it.
Yeah.
But if instead we can see it as correction, then good grief. I mean, but that's the other thing. It wasn't just that I talked fast. I'm a girl, so when I would get excited, I would talk high pitched, and you had to help me go.
Here's how to manage.
Here's how to manage it. Here's how, as a girl, and you're a dude. I could have been like, "Shut up, dude. You don't know what it's like to be a girl." That's not.
Well, there's sometimes you hear a lady in a microphone, and it's piercing.
It's ear piercing,
and which equals annoying,
right? Especially to a man listener, which we believe in women's ministry that can speak to men and women.
And so we had to help. Well, this is one of the main reasons I think Joyce Myers is famous.
Absolutely.
Like, go listen to Joyce Myers' voice. She sounds like a dude who's smoked for 50 years.
Yeah.
And so her voice isn't shrilly.
Right.
And so there's a lot of great female communicators, but it's that shrill in an amplified system that makes it hard. And I knew that. And so I had to help you work that out.
But then think about the fact that because I would receive that correction rather than hearing it as rejection, how many other women have now been able to learn how to be great communicators, to learn how to not squeal when they speak, because now I've been able to correct them. And the tricky thing about rejection is it's not just a one relationship loss. Bro. It doesn't mean that just, I reject what you said, so now we don't understand the forward motion that it stops in all kind of things. If we let ourselves feel rejected. I think of it obviously as pastors where we see that happen with people in correction, and it ruins our kids' lives. Yeah. And it breaks, it breaks our hearts when I see like, oh God, now their kids are not here planted, and now their kids are, lives are falling apart because they felt rejected in a moment instead of understanding, no, this is just correction that not only will help you, it will help the generations to follow you.
I want to tell a story, but it might not be, you might not want me to.
What?
At the Pig, you talked to a girl about wearing some clothes on stage.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's happened a lot of times.
But do you think that story specifically is okay to tell?
Yeah, you can tell that one. You can tell. I mean, there's a bunch, yeah.
So there was a girl who was a part of our worship team.
And at that season is when Mick and Chris were leading. And so they're both young and they weren't really in the place like leadership wise. We didn't really have like a strong adult leader to be the leader of the worship team. So by default, I was like, I'll help lead these conflict moments.
And well, you tell it because it's a girl story.
Oh, okay. Well, it's important. We say it like, especially in church world, we say the phrases like modest is hottest and all these things. But the truth is, if we're getting on stage, we don't want to be a distraction. And that can be all kind of things. We don't like graphic tees that say like, Metallica. That's not cool on stage.
Just this girl had matured into
she was just wearing a low cut tight shirt that was also short. My mom taught me a long time ago, like if you got like one thing that's like shorter skirt, you better be wearing a flowy shirt. Like you can't be everywhere, but everywhere it was low, it was short, and it was tight. It was all the problems.
And she's up there jumping around.
And so I just went and talked to her and it's like, hey, I love you.
But after service.
Yeah, well, in between.
Oh, in between services.
In between. I just said, hey, I love you. And I just noticed in this last song this first song, the fast song, like you said, that you were jumping around, which you're adorable and obviously you're so cute. But it could be a distraction for other people. And I just love you so much. I would never want you to be objectified. I would never want someone to look at you in an inappropriate way. And so if you wouldn't mind, I'd love it if for second service you wore this blazer that I had, because I always brought extra clothes because you never know. And just wear it while you're on stage at least. You don't have to wear it when you're sitting down, but just while you're on stage so that nobody could ever look at you in the wrong way. Out of love in my heart. And then also like, yeah, we just have to be careful the way we dress.
But what happened after that is... rejection settled in, I think, in the mom.
Yeah.
And the mom heard about it, and the mom came and
first, she was totally cool. She was super fine. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you told me that.
Right.
Because she didn't know, and we weren't getting onto her. We love you. But
berated Whit, berated Rachel.
Yeah.
How dare you? But what was really happening is the mom had been rejected back in Catholic church somewhere back in when she was in her late teens, early 20s. And then now this same feeling of rejection was like, don't you dare do this to my daughter.
Yeah.
And they ejected their whole family out of the church, not to go to another church, just to kind of
sit at home,
wander for a while.
Yeah, it's super
But
sad.
as I look back at that, I'm like, because it's not that you were offensive.
No, not
There's
at
nobody
all.
I would trust more than Rachel or Whitney to handle one of those kind of conversations. But it was just this rejection in her mom that really got poked.
Yeah, that got poked and then passed down, which sucks.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important that we guard ourselves. And in this, we talked about in the devil versus default, dealing with our defaults. But I think understanding the rejection one is not really one we even talked about that much.
Yeah.
But if we can really dig at it and deal with it, think about your marriage. How many times have you and Rachel gotten in a fight and the core of it was that in the moment you actually felt rejected? Maybe not you, but I think, I know for Aaron and I both, there's been times where the way you talked to me, the way you said that made me feel like you were saying you're stupid or you're...
Well, I think that maybe the cousin of rejected is disrespected.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so when you asked that question, I was like, yeah, I think it's more...
Correct.
I feel disrespected, which is a form of...
It is a form of rejection. Yeah.
Okay. You said something that got my brain thinking about the main seasons in life where that rejection settles in. And so there's some in childhood.
Absolutely.
Then there's probably some in our first dating experiences that there's rejection that comes in. And then there's the workforce.
Oh, for sure.
Rejections.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know if we want to tell any of those stories
Sure.
that then turn into, as an adult, we're now looking through the wrong lens.
Absolutely.
That now, because those things hurt me so bad that I just don't want to experience that again.
Yeah.
And so I'm eyes peeled to find, are you rejecting me? Because that's how it feels.
Yeah. No, it's really good.
I remember I grew up in Flint, Michigan. And so you were either white or black.
Yeah.
In the town that I grew up in, you were either a white kid or you were a black kid. And then I, of Middle Eastern descent, was neither.
Right. You're just brown.
Yeah, I was brown, especially in the summer months. I'm super brown. So who is this kid? And so I remember my whole life, they would pick teams, and it was the most segregated.
Yeah.
I mean, I had so many white friends and so many black friends, but when we were playing sports, it was segregated because you get a white captain and a black captain. They'd pick all their friends. And then here's Truston. It's not that Truston's picked last. It's just that where does Truston go?
Yeah. Who picks him? Who chooses
I'm
him?
either playing on the all black kids team or I'm playing on the all white kids team. And so there was this weird rejection that wasn't even my fault. I was friends with everybody.
And kind of wasn't even their fault.
It wasn't their fault. It was just
they're kind of he goes with them, and the other group's oh, he goes with them.
Yeah. And so it's funny, you look back at the clothes that I wore, and there's a year that I'm in all Nikes, and there's another year that I'm all in Eddie Bauer.
Yeah.
It's wait, what? And I'm just trying to find
right where you fit.
Who's gonna accept me? And it just felt like ping pong of rejection. And I think from a young age that was a thing that I didn't even understand. It started.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I had these friends in I'm trying to remember, I think it was 7th grade. And so there was Stephanie, Patricia, then the next year Kelly came, then the 4th year Brianna came. So to our school. So when it was Stephanie, Patricia, and Kelly, then there was easily 4 is fine. I can be part of that friend group. But then when Brianna came, it literally was I remember panicking. This is terrible. This is how all the girls watching be yep, I remember this. It was if I didn't get to school first or second, then that school day, it would be those 4 against me. And it was whoever was the last one to arrive that day would then be the one on the outs. It's silly, but it was real.
I wouldn't understand that except now Lillian's 12.
Yeah. And so I can remember, my mom worked at the school. So most days, even though my mom, shout out Vic, historically runs late in her life.
Vic, super fan.
My mom normally does run late in her life, but not to work. She was always on time to work. Therefore,
dude, shade. Sorry, Vic.
No, she knows. She loves me. I run late because my mom runs late. It's a default. We're working on it.
Yeah.
And so, but it's funny. But I can remember a few days where it was I got there last, and I remember feeling so confused and rejected. Why can't we all just get along? But it was Yeah, it was this thing. And the reason why I realized later, like as I got older, is because they didn't want to be the one rejected. So I'm going to reject you because then I won't be the one rejected. And that's like historically, I think what happens to us as young people, we feel this first feeling of rejection. And because we're young and immature, we don't know how to deal with it. And then rather than saying like, hey, I love you, why can't we be friends? We just then in turn push the other person down so we feel better about ourselves.
Yeah.
And that happens the rest of forever, right?
Yeah.
If we're not careful. What? You're thinking.
No,
so
I just,
bad.
all these stories are coming in my brain that I haven't ever thought of.
Yeah.
When I was a senior, every year we would do what we called interclass games at my high school. So you'd have like a pep rally with freshmen, sophomore, each class would like compete. And so every year for my class, I was on the tug of war team.
Well, yeah.
And so my senior year, tug of war were there, and like I had missed a practice or something for the tug of war team. And so there was like all these new guys that came because it's senior year. So everybody's like bought in. They wanted to be on the tug of war team. And so they have me go against this one other guy because there's too many spots and these two guys come. I'm like, I've been on this team every year. Like I made the t-shirts for our team. What are you talking about?
Right.
And so I had to go against this other kid, and he was a gigantic human.
Yeah.
Gigantic human. And
he
I'm like,
won.
I'm in trouble. And so I'm giving it all that I've got, and he's about to win. And I get so mad, and I let go of the rope right before I lose. And the rope flies and swings and hits the teacher in the face. The knot of the rope swings, and the kid's pulling. He falls down. Man, forget y'all. Won't let me on the toe. I'm stronger than him. All these other guys that are on the team, but I'm way bigger than. The teacher gets a bloody nose.
Oh no.
And she's the play, the teacher who's like in charge of all the plays, theater. Yeah. So everybody loves her. She's bleeding, and I've never felt more rejected.
Yeah.
Than
Truston,
that.
you suck.
Well, because I'm not on the team.
Right.
And I got beat.
And you hurt
and
somebody.
I hurt the beloved teacher. And it's like literally not booze, but it felt like
the booze of life.
I'm the biggest loser in all of the world. And I wonder, now as we're hearing these stories, I'm like, that might have been a defining moment, because you know what? I wasn't strong enough. Back to my default. I couldn't pick it up.
Right.
And so because I wasn't able to pick it up, I'm now literally getting booed and harassed and not on the team.
And
I'm weak.
And a loser. Golly dang it.
But see, it's tied to rejection.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so tied to it. That's really good. There's so many, I'm sure you said it as we're like dating, whatnot, seeing. I can remember, I don't know, we probably all have stories like this, but I was that girl who was like, did things right and followed the rules because I love Jesus and all the things. And I can remember being rejected by certain guys because of that. And it sucked because I remember feeling
you weren't hoeing around.
I'm not gonna be a hoe, so I don't get to go. Like that's how I feel. Trying to rhyme, I can't do it. Yeah. Same as you. But he picked her. She sucks. She's rude. She's ugly.
She did.
She's this, but she did that. So, right. It's like, I remember just feeling like, dang it. Like, I must be like I don't know. Like, you let it, if you want to, you can let it like take over. Like, dang, I must suck. No one's going to want to pick me. But the truth of the matter was, God knew. But I can remember feeling massively rejected in those early years of dating because it was like, no, I'm just the good girl. Dang.
I was dating this girl. I thought she was the one.
Sarah.
God, you bleep her last name. She's still
write that down so Julia bleep her last name.
She's still a person, but so I'm dating this girl, and I'm like, she's the one.
Yeah.
This is it. Her dad was a kids pastor.
Okay.
At a great big church.
Okay.
Did you not know that?
Oh yeah,
her dad.
I knew he was a pastor, but
no, he's a kids pastor at like
sense.
the biggest church in the state.
Okay.
And so she lives like 2 hours away from me, and so her mom and dad like drove to Flint and had dinner with my parents, and like I'm like, this is
serious.
It's the first girl I ever held hands with. Oh. I was holding hands with her while we were driving, and I was scared to death. And I got a speeding ticket going like 105 because I was just nervous. And so the cop pulled me over. And so anyways, I'm dating this girl, but I'm about to leave for Bible college.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to talk her into going. Like, what do you mean? What are you going to do with your life? Well, I'm called to minister. I want to do all this. I just don't know. And so she's scared. So she breaks up with me. And she tells me that she breaks up with me because I'm too good for her, which feels like some bull crap.
Well, yeah.
Right? And that rejection, it sent me on like a 2-year spiral where I was just freaked out by like being in any kind of relationship.
By women,
any kind of relationship in girls. And Rachel teases me now. And she's like, Truston, you did date this girl. I'm like, no, I never dated this girl. And she's like, did you hang out? Did you go to the movies? Did you go to dinner?
Right.
It's like, yes. And like, I had all of these emotional relationships with girls, but I didn't. But it was because I was so afraid to be rejected. So I had multiple girls in my life.
Walls up, bro.
I had walls up. Multiple girls thought I was dating them, but I wasn't dating them.
Yeah.
But I was dating them.
You were 100% dating them. When
but
you tell me, I'm
wasn't.
like, you did that and you went there with her and you bought her that gift? Okay.
I was like, but I'm not dating her. But it was based in me not dealing with this rejection that I was just out doing stuff that was stupid.
No, it's good. And then I think like for me as an adult, one of my first like adult rejection things I remember feeling was, I got married young, then had my kids young. And so going to like their kindergarten, like open houses, whatnot, I can remember different women like actually saying, they felt whatever they felt, I don't know, but like saying rude words at me for being the young one and like, oh, must be nice to be so young and cute and still whatever. They thought they were, I guess jealous or whatever, but that did not feel like that to me.
Well, because you were 20.
Yeah, I was like 20. I'm 25. They're 35 or
35
whatever.
35 and frumpy.
And I'm like, I felt so rejected by like I thought, oh, we're going to go to school. I'm going to be the PTA mom. It's going to be so fun. And it was like, oh no, these women are the worst. But really it was just like a rejection of like, you don't fit here and you don't belong here and you're, too young here and you don't know. And I can remember for years, it was like, then I got this very like, I don't like those kind of people, which it's not true. They're nice people, but I like, what we said before, I was going to reject them before they rejected me because I'd been rejected. I remember moving here and it was kind of like, I don't want to try again. Like they're not going to like me, but there were people that did like me, but I put up a wall because it was like, this was my past experience. Then moving here, oh man, I don't want to repeat the same experience. So I'll just not go. I'll just not be a part so that I don't feel rejected. Did it ever happen to you?
Dude, bro. I have so many thoughts. Like, the reason that I think so many people won't go to church or say that they're not Jesus people is because somewhere along the way they were rejected in a church.
Right.
Or rejected by a Christ follower. And that rejection moment was just compiled on all of their other life rejections.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, that place, which equals every church ever, is a place that rejects me. And so then they distance themselves because most of the testimonies of More Church are just people that wanted to be close to God but felt rejected by humans. Right. Yeah, tell the story.
We were there on Saturday. Yeah. And we're walking back from the parade. We had 235 people come walk in the parade. I'm rounding that number, but they said over 230 people were walking in the parade with us from More Church. Shout out. Good job if y'all came. It was so fantastic. Much fun. But as we're walking back to like at the end of the parade, we're going back to like our staging area and we walked past the Jeep Club. Which you love Jeeps. Yeah, I was like, that sucks for you. The Jeeps people were nice. But anyway, there's this guy and he goes, ugh, church people. And I'm like, ouch. But then that's what immediately I thought is like, oh, somebody hurt you. Somebody in a church rejected you, I'm sure.
And so you're
anti-church people.
But also anti-God.
Right.
Which is kind of a big one.
That's huge.
But it's just because like his uncle.
Right. Probably said oh, you hey, smoke a cigarette, you're going to hell. Right.
Right.
Golly.
So they felt rejected.
Yeah. No, man. And so rejections,
rejections from yesterday can keep you out of your more in tomorrow.
Come on.
If you don't learn to navigate that.
No, it's true.
But while we were walking in the parade, there was Rachel and I used to go to Mellow Mushroom in Mansfield. Yeah. That's how long ago this was if you're a local. They closed down years ago.
Yeah.
And we had a waitress there that we would always see. Her name, I'm not going to say her name. We had a waitress there.
Yeah.
And so we started inviting her to church. And she finally came and like accepted Jesus in her heart. She might have even got baptized. I can't remember.
I don't know if she got baptized.
But she went through a divorce.
Yeah.
And then transitioned her lifestyle and is now a lesbian.
Yeah.
And she still comes every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every once in a while. Yeah. We'll see her around town.
Yeah.
She was at the Pig. I don't know if she's been in this building yet.
No.
But I remember her coming to the Pig.
Yeah.
And we're walking through the parade and she starts yelling, Rachel, Whitney, Rachel. They ran over and hugged her.
Yeah.
Big embrace. It's so good to see you. Come and visit us.
Yeah.
Think of the rejection that we know because she shared some of her story.
Yeah.
She's not at a church because she's just been so rejected because of her divorce. And she's got all the tattoos and all the things and all the attachments of this world stuck on her. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, she yelled at us and hugged us. And,
right.
And it's just.
And far be it from us to be people that reject. It's literally, I had it in the back of my head, like, we have to talk about that piece because if you can heal your rejection issues, then you can help heal rejection issues in other people.
Yeah.
A little girl, we just had Jingle Jam. The little kids were in the choir. They were singing and they did a great job. They had to be at the rehearsals and the practices and all the things. Well, last Sunday, the Sunday before, was the last practice. And this one little girl who's been knowing all her songs, knowing all her lines, knowing all the things, had to miss because it was her grandpa's birthday party. Well, that Sunday, McKinley decided, hey, this last song, Silent Night, we're just going to do a small group because it needs to be like a more intimate, beautiful feel at the end. And so we'll do a small group. Well, the following Thursday when we did the rehearsal, the final rehearsal, McKinley said, so everybody who was here Sunday that we chose for Silent Night, go up and sing the song. And this little girl that missed this one rehearsal, because she'd been a part of all of them, is sitting there with tears streaming down her face. And her mom's like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, go up there and sing. You know it all. You know it. And she's like, no, McKinley said.
She's a rule follower.
She's a rule follower. Mom, McKinley said the kids from Sunday, and I wasn't here, and it's your fault because we had to go to Grandpa's birthday, you know. And so this mom like goes to McKinley and just starts to even like, hey Mick, I don't know if that she's allowed. And McKinley's like, she didn't even get all her words out. And she's like, girl, what are you doing? Get up there. I know you know the song. Get up there and sing. And the shift in her, and then like later talked to the mom, and she like told me like how. Later, she's like, I was so sad and da-da, but McKinley told me that I could do it because I had been working hard and I had been singing and I had been practicing and as you were telling that story earlier about the tug of war, I was thinking, that could have been a defining moment in her life of rejection. Of rejection.
That she'd remembered that church wouldn't let me.
Even though I did all these things, but my freaking grandpa and then my freaking church.
And then the devil comes in and attaches that to God.
Right. Yeah. But instead, beautifully, because her mom wasn't afraid of a conversation. Yeah. Her mom didn't get butthurt and offended. And
Mick wasn't so red taped.
Mick wasn't painting the butt, knew this girl and knew her story and knew that she'd been working hard. Instead, it got to be an opportunity for joy, peace, healing, all of that. And I thought, if we're not intentional to heal our rejection, we can't heal the rejection of other people. But when we are intentional, then we can see the opportunity for rejection and fix it and change it. Because now that person in your house, when we had that fight, if I knew what I know now, so you're tapping something. It's tapping. What are you tapping? Oh, sorry. I was like, hey, I can hear it. If I knew then what I know now, we would have handled that different.
Yeah.
It might have still ended the same way.
Yeah, but it would have not been escalated.
No, we would have been able to say, you're not going to yell because we're not rejecting you. Now sit back down. We're going to finish this conversation. Yeah. And we could have been, and then maybe she would have still stormed out. Maybe she still would have not been good. But when you understand it and see it better, then you learn how to help heal it in other people.
So all these rejections in our life, they build up like a building, like a pyramid. I don't know. They accumulate in our life. And then later on, we start feeling those same feelings all over the place, and it makes us afraid. And we're so afraid of rejection that we're paralyzed.
Yeah.
I remember being paralyzed in my preaching because every time a camera would turn on, it meant that there was the potential that I was going to be rejected by somebody. Because somebody would watch it, they would not like what I said, they wouldn't like what I wore, they wouldn't like how long I talked, how short I talked, something. Yeah. And what it did is it started to turn me into a automaton, a robot of a performer to perfectly cause no controversy that would potentially create me turmoil. Yeah, yeah. But I was just afraid of rejection. Right. And once I was able to get over like caring about if this person's going to reject me or even caring about their opinion, which is a whole other thing we have to talk about. Yeah. I was able to be free. One of the guys at the Christmas parade took a video of me dancing to the cha-cha slide or something while eating a hot dog. Yeah. And I watched that video of myself and I thought, that guy is so free. Yeah. Yeah. He's so free. He's having fun. He doesn't give a crap about the opinion of anybody.
Right. It's really good.
That doesn't matter.
Right. That doesn't matter. Right.
I care about the opinion of a lot of people that I respect, but the other people that I don't respect, I mean, I love them, but I'm not like, they have no influence in me. That weight is not on my shoulders.
Right.
And we live with this weight on our shoulders of getting everyone's approval, because the opposite of rejection is approval. And when you want approval from everywhere, that's trapping.
Absolutely.
You're trapped in every word, in every movement, in everything, because I've got to be approved by everybody.
But the truth is, no matter how hard we try, and what you and I have had to learn over the last several years, is even when we try to stay perfectly in the box, we're still going to be rejected.
Still.
That people are the worst, and they're also the best. But like, people are people.
Well, then you're going to be rejected because you're too good.
Right. No, that's true.
Oh man, they're so good at being good. Well, I've got to reject them just because they're better than me.
Right. And so you really can't win. And so the truth of the matter is, you just got to get over it, feeling rejected, and not allow yourself to be stifled, to know who you are, and to say, if they reject me, then that's on them. Yeah. That's not on me.
I've talked about it before, that I remember back at the Matlock building writing sermons, thinking about the other pastors that might potentially watch it and then give me opportunity to preach on bigger platforms. And now that I look back, that's crazy. I'm called to be a pastor of these people that their butts are actually in the seats. And I'm preaching not even to them. I'm preaching into ethereal possibilities.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Are you ever doing things because someone might be watching? Because if you are, then maybe there's a rejection, deep-rooted thing in you. I watch these people on social media, they'll go to the car dealership when they're buying a brand new car, and they'll take their selfie with their brand new car. I'm like, who'd you buy that for?
Right.
Did you buy that because you like that car and it fits your life and fits the needs of your family and fits your finances? Or did you buy that because
your neighbor's going to think you're cool?
You're trying to get approval from somebody.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's crazy. But the freedom that comes from not feeling rejected. The truth, well, you said it though. The truth is, the rejection really comes from not knowing who you are and who you are in Christ. That, like, if you can really get to that place and know that, like, he says I'm enough, he qualifies me, he sets me apart, then it doesn't matter if man rejects us. But dang, it's hard, and we have to work through our default in order to.
Oh, Whitney just went Bible on us.
Well, I mean, we are pastors at the end.
No,
at
it's
the end
good.
of the day.
There's a story in the Bible about how the disciples go into a city to preach.
Yeah.
And nobody's paying attention to them.
Right.
They're rude to them. They dismiss them. Oh, no. And Jesus goes.
Yeah.
And they're in Bethlehem.
Right.
So they go to preach. Bethlehem? I don't know where they were. I don't know where they were. They're somewhere. Judea. They're somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere
I don't know where
in his.
And so they go into the town. Nobody's paying attention. They're kind of being disrespectful. They won't receive the message. And Jesus says, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to shake that dust off and move on to the next city. And sometimes people are going to reject you, but just shake the dust off your feet. Shake the dust of that place, those comments, those words, those opinions. Shake that dust off and just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, because if we'd had let the rejection of the last 4 years actually matter in our life, we definitely wouldn't be here anymore. And we did try to let it for a little while, but then once we learned, like, no, what? This has just been a tactic the enemy's been playing on me since I was literally a kid. I'm not gonna let it win.
You want a pastor story?
Sure.
This is a very Tim story.
Oh, you have a Tim story?
Yeah.
But not about Tim, but like a.
There was once a
Tim coded.
Yeah, there was once a farmer.
Oh no. Okay.
There was once a farmer who owned a donkey. And he loved this donkey. This donkey and him plowed the fields. This donkey took him to town. This donkey stayed right outside his bedroom window, and every morning, would wake him up and let him know that the sun had risen. He loved this donkey. And one day, the donkey was out in the field, and the farmer had left the cover off the well.
Oh, no.
And the donkey fell down into the dried up old well. And the farmer tried with all of his might to get the donkey out of the well. He got ropes and put it down around the donkey. He climbed down there and tried to help the donkey out. He even got his friends over to try to help hoist the donkey up out of this hole. And alas, they couldn't save the donkey. And so the farmer started to feed the donkey down in the hole, but finally realized this is torturous to the donkey.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the heart to kill the donkey, so he said, you know what I'm going to do? He's already destined to die in this hole. I should have filled in this well. I'm just going to bury the donkey. So the farmer gets a shovel, and he starts taking shovels of dirt and just throwing them down the well, tears running down his face, thinking, I'm just killing my donkey. And after about 10 minutes of throwing dirt down, he looks down, assuming that the donkey is going to be halfway covered in dirt. But you know what that little donkey did? Every time the dirt hit his back, he shook it off, and he just stomped it down. And the farmer threw some more dirt in, and the donkey shook it off, and he stomped it down. And after about half a day of digging, that donkey, he stomped on that rejection, and he got up out of that well.
That's a good story.
Come on, that's a good one.
Before.
And sometimes I got all kind of stuff in my quiver.
Oh, there you go. Yes. It's funny.
Sometimes we just have to take the rejection of other people and literally shake it off and stomp it down.
And let them be the donkey. Oh, wait.
It doesn't, like, their words were wrong.
They don't matter. It don't matter. Right.
Their words were wrong. The reason that girl broke up with me was not because I was too good for her.
Right.
She had a bunch of trauma. It wasn't God's best for me. Thank God I didn't marry her.
No, correct.
Right?
Right.
That moment that everyone was booing Truston for losing tug of war, it's not because I lost tug of war. It's because I lost my temper.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, right.
And like all of these moments that felt so rejective, I was not being rejected on the sports field at recess.
Right.
I was just living in a social construct that I was not mature enough to understand of racism.
Right. No, it's true. And when I can look at it as in now a grown woman and go, oh, those same middle school girls were those same PTA moms. They were just insecure too.
Yeah.
They just all wanted to make sure they found their place too. Oh,
and
then
so,
I don't have to make it about me. I just realize, oh, yeah, we're all just humans and we're all just broken trying to find our place. Oh, then let me go be the best me for other women, other people around me. And then, yeah, it doesn't have to ruin my whole life.
So when people leave the church because they don't like what I'm preaching, it's not that they don't like what I'm preaching.
Right.
It's that they can't stomach what I'm preaching.
Okay.
And so all of these things I've had to heal. When people reject you as a woman in ministry, it's just because they're intimidated of the gift that's in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'm a reminder of the dead dream in them. Or,
I
mean, all kind of things I've had to realize, like, oh, or the fear. Maybe a man like, oh, the fear. Oh, that's an issue in you. That's not an issue in me. Like, but man, it is hard. But once you get it, what you said before is so good. The freedom. Mm-hmm. We're so free compared to even who I was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because, oh, that's okay. You can reject me. That's fine.
You and I weren't rejected by our parents when we were little. And so if you're watching this and you were rejected by a primary caregiver, I'm really sorry that happened. That stinks.
Yeah.
That's the worst. But what you have to remember is that you have a good Father in heaven who loves you.
That's right.
And he'd never reject you.
That's right.
The Bible says that nothing could separate you from God's love. Not height, not depth, not mountain, not valley, not angel nor demon. Nothing could separate you from God's hand. And so, like, I know that we've talked a lot of stories, but I realized, like, if Rachel were here, she would talk a very different,
no, it's really true.
different angle of rejection.
Yeah.
And if you were rejected by somebody that, like,
should have loved you, should have protected you, should have provided for you, should have been there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
But let God heal those wounds.
Right.
Invite the Holy Spirit to come in and mend those things, and then identify what defaults have been birthed out of that rejection.
It's really good. We love you guys so much. If you have any other trivia that you want us to answer, we will do it.
Yeah, let's hit Whitney with some trivia.
I don't even know what.
She would get it all.
No, I don't know.
But if you told her what the trivia topic was, she would stay up all night studying.
Maybe that's also true.
So don't tell her. Tell me what it is,
really
and then
funny.
I'm gonna spring it on her.
Spring it on me. Yes. All right, y'all. Have a great one. We
love you guys. See ya.